Hello everyone, my name is Mark Anthony S. Torres and I will be your teacher for today. And before we start with our day today, so let's have a short prayer. Good morning everyone. So before we start with our lesson, so let us have a short pretest. So all you have to do is choose the letter of the best answer and you will be given only 10 seconds to answer. So let's start if you're ready. Okay? So let's have question number 1. In deleting objects, shapes, and paths in Adobe Illustrator, you can use the following except letter A, pen tool, B, knife tool, C, delete key, and D, scissor tool. 10 seconds to answer.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay, time is up. What do you think is the correct answer? So if your answer is letter C, and then your answer is wrong. And if your answer is letter A, your answer is correct. And next. So it can be used in deleting certain parts of irrelevant parts of the combined objects. Letter A, knife tool. C, scissors tool. B, shape modes and pathfinders. And letter D, slice tool. 10 seconds to answer.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay, if your answer is letter D, your answer is wrong. What about letter A? Wrong. What about letter B? If your answer is letter B, you got the correct answer. Okay, next. So it cuts paths at a specified point. Letter A, knife tool. B, pen tool. C, scissors tool. And D, delete key. You have 10 seconds to answer.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
3, 2, 1. And if your answer is letter C, you have the correct answer. Okay, so let's move on to question number 4. It cuts objects and path. Letter A, pen tool. B, scissors tool. D, C, delete key, and letter D, knife tool. You have 10 seconds to answer.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
3, 2, and 1. So if your answer is letter D, you've got the correct answer. And let's have the last question. You can also use this key in deleting objects and path. Letter A, knife tool. B, pen tool. C, scissors tool. And letter D, delete key. You have 10 seconds to answer.
10,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So if your answer is letter A, you have the wrong answer. What about letter C? You've got the wrong answer. How about letter D? You've got the correct answer. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed our activity for today. So that's all for our pretest. And now let's move on to another activity. So for the enhancement activity number 2, so all you have to do is to examine the picture that I'm going to show and observe what you observe and write down on your notes. Okay, so this image is an image showing a specific procedure applied to delete and combine objects. Now, observe. So what have you observed with the picture? So based on the picture, it has a figure of an animal and a tree. So observe what happened to the picture. So how come the creator of this picture come up with this idea and how we're going to do this kind of object in an Illustrator. Okay? So for the guide question, so what do you observe in the picture? Next, how do these objects form? Can you think of the ways in certain parts of the objects have been deleted and combined? Okay, so based on the picture, so you observe that they use, or the creator use, different shapes and combine it with each other and delete some part of the object or shape. So that's why the creator come up with that kind of picture. So how do these object forms? Of course, by deleting and combining the object. And can you think of certain ways on how parts of the objects have been deleted and combined? So later on, we will discuss about those things on ways on how we're going to apply, how we're going to delete and combine objects or shapes in our topic for today. Okay? So now, our topic is deleting and combining objects in Adobe Illustrator. Okay, but before that, so at the end of this session, you will be able to first identify different Adobe Illustrator tools used in combining and deleting objects. Next, recognize the different ways of combining and deleting objects in Adobe Illustrator. Next, perform the steps in combining and deleting objects in Adobe Illustrator. Okay? Let us start with our lesson. So, did you know that in deleting and combining objects in Adobe Illustrator, shapes and paths in Adobe Illustrator, the following tools and commands can be used. So what are the tools and commands that we're going to use? And take note, we need to become precise in whatever shape or artwork that we're going to do in Adobe Illustrator. It should be performed accurately. Okay, so since this is a digital artwork, then our output must be good enough just to see by the other people. Okay. So in deleting and combining objects in Adobe Illustrator, we can use these following tools. So what are those tools in Adobe Illustrator? So first tool is using the delete key. So as you notice that you have your delete key in your own keyboard. Okay, but what are you going to use? in order for you to perform deleting object or shape using delete key. So of course, you need to use the selection and direct selection tool. So later on, I will show to you how to use this tool. And next, select the path, object or path and press delete key. And next one, using scissors and knife tool. So we will use scissors tools just to cut path at specified point, and knife tool to cut objects and path. Okay, and next one, using shape modes. So select the objects, then go to Pathfinder palette and choose the desired shape modes option. So there are different shape modes that we're going to choose depending on the use or on the artwork that we are going to make, or it depends upon the part of the shape that we're going to remove in our own artwork, digital artwork. Okay, then click expand. So using Pathfinder, so select the objects, then go to Pathfinder palette and choose the desired Pathfinder option, and that would be all. So these are the tools that we're going to use in deleting and combining objects in Adobe Illustrator. So these are some of the basic tools that somehow can help us just to make our artwork, digital artwork, appealing to the eyes of the viewers. Okay? And take note that in combining objects, shape modes and Pathfinder can be used. It can also be used in deleting certain parts or irrelevant parts of the combined objects. Okay? And did you know that shape modes options has, okay, and just like what I've mentioned a while ago, it add to shape area, subtract from shape area, intersect shape areas, and exclude overlapping shape area. And in Pathfinder options, you can divide, trim, merge, crop, outline, and minus back the picture. Okay, and make sure that the shapes that you're going to use is overlapping so that shape modes and Pathfinder options can be done accurately. Okay. So now, in order for you to understand how shape modes options, Pathfinder, delete key, and knife tool and scissors tool are working, then watch this video tutorial. Hey everyone, so today I'm going to demonstrate how to delete and combine objects in Adobe Illustrator. But first thing to do is to launch the Adobe Illustrator, and if you don't have your own Adobe Illustrator application in your laptop, then you may download it and search for it. And while we are waiting for the Adobe, I'm going to use this letter as the size of my document, and I'm gonna type my name, and I will resize it just to make it bigger and change its properties. Let's have the bigger one. Let's change the font style. Let's use this one. Highlight first and choose the other font style. Let me choose. Ano ba maganda? Okay, let's use this one. Okay, so I'm gonna duplicate this text. So let's go to layers and just drag it down and to duplicate, and then select the text and drag it down again. and another layer, and sorry, this one, and I'm gonna add shapes. So I'll be using this one, rectangle, and okay, so I have another one, so I can change the color of the object, red, and the other one is, let's use yellow. Okay, now, so there are ways on how we're going to delete the object or combine the object. So but this way, using the delete key, what we're going to do is to use the selection tool, this one, selection tool, or the direct selection tool. So just use that one, just click and select the object that you want to delete and press delete key. Okay, another one, if you're going to use direct selection tool, all you have to do is to select the object that you're going to delete and press delete key. Okay, and then the other one way of deleting the part of an object or deleting the path in an object, so all you have to do is to use the eraser tool, scissor tool, and knife tool. So but how we're going to do that? Okay, so let me make it bigger. So let's use this first text. Okay, so I'm gonna use this one and make it just press Control Shift O just to have path or anchor points in this text. So as you notice that there are different anchor points in the text. Now if you're going to use delete key or the eraser tool rather, so you will notice that there will be another path or anchor points if you're going to delete some part of the text or the object you have in your Adobe Illustrator. So let's have this one, another one. Okay, so doubled anchor points, or let's say for example, let's gonna resize this one just to make it smaller, and let's have this one. Let's try just to divide it. Okay, so now they are divided and not as one na. Now what we're going to do, let's try to select this part, group selection tool, and then this one. So now we can remove this part of this text if we're going to use the eraser tool. A different path will be made once you're going to remove this part of this text using eraser tool. Another way is by using the cutting scissors tool. So what is the purpose of the scissor tool? Scissor tool cuts path and at specified points. So it's just we're dealing with points or the anchor points in this text. So let's move on to the another one. So let's press Control Shift O, and then path or anchor points will be displayed in each letter of this text. And let's try to select scissors tool. So what we're going to do, we're going to select anchor points or path in the text. So just see what will you notice if we're going to use this one. So upon selecting, so some part of the text will be removed. As you can see that the colors is already removed because you're selecting anchor points. Yan na po. Okay, that's one way on how we're going to delete some part of the text or the object. So using scissor tool. And another one, shift control O, shift control O, okay. And next one is using the knife tool. So what we're going to do with the knife tool, so let's look for the knife tool. Slice tool, where is the knife tool? This one is the knife tool. Now let's see the difference between the scissors tool and the knife tool. So let's make it an outline. Shift X, I'm sorry, the other one, Shift X, Control Z, Shift X. This one, Shift X. So next, let's try to use this knife tool. So using knife tool, you're going to, let's say for example, we're going to cut this part. And that part will be cut. So let us see. Okay. Knife tool. Let's just use this. So if you're going to cut that one, let's say for example like this, so different anchor points will be shown, and once you're going to select some part of it, then you can move it. Sorry. Group selection tool. Okay, you can remove that one, or if you want to do that, so you can make a change the color if you want, then it's up to you. Let's make it red. Or you can also remove some path. remove some path of an object. Remove part of an object. Or remove so that's how the knife tool works. And next one, so we can also delete an object using the Pathfinder. So we're going to look for the Pathfinder in the window tab and look for the Pathfinder. So different selections, we have the shape modes and Pathfinder. So let's move on to shape modes first. So using the selection tool, so select the two objects. Now let's move on to the unite. So if we're going to unite, click unite. Let me just reposition this one so that you can see the difference. Okay, so this using the selection tool, select these two objects and click unite. So the two objects will be united. Okay, so they are already formed just like one object. And another shape mode is the minus front. So the front one will be subtract from the shape area. Okay, the red one is already subtract from the second picture. So that's why that is the picture or the result of the shape mode. And then another shape mode is this intersect. So what is that intersect? Those object or those part of the object that intersect to each other will be may iwan na po siya. Okay po. And next one is the exclude. So compound shape and exclude overlapping shape areas. So how it will work? So yung nag-overlap or the part of an object that intersect to each other will be removed if you're going to use this exclude. Okay, and now let's move on to pathfinders. So first one is to divide. So it's already divided into two. And next one is trim. So how we'll know that it is already trimmed? Yan po. It's already trimmed. The next one, let's have merge. So it's already merged, it's already turned as one object. And another one is to crop. So the object is already cropped. And another one is to outline. Okay, we already outlined the object. And then the other one is to minus back. Okay po, minus back. Okay, so that's how we're going to delete and combine objects in the Adobe Illustrator. I hope you enjoyed watching the video tutorial on how we're going to use delete key in deleting part of the object, or the object rather, and scissor tool and knife tool, shape modes, and pathfinder. Now, let's have self-check. So explain how the following tools and commands are being used to delete objects in Adobe Illustrator. So first, scissor tool, knife tool is the second one, Third one is delete key. Number 4, Pathfinder. And number 5, shape modes. So what will you do is to write your answer in a intermediate paper, or after that you will submit it to me, or you may take picture of it and submit it in my messenger account. Okay? Do you have any question regarding our activity about this self-check, explaining these following tools that we used in deleting objects or combining objects in Adobe Illustrator? Okay, very good. So if you don't have questions, so let's proceed to another activity. So this one is only a post test. So all you have to do is to visit this link to answer or to start your activity. Okay, so this one is a messenger or a quiz using messenger. Okay, just click the link below, or I will give this link to our group chat, so in order for you to start answering. Okay, do you have any question? Okay, let's move on to another activity. So this one is just only a reflection. Now my question is, what have you learned from our lesson? And number 2, how will you apply your learnings in your daily living? So I hope you've learned a lot from our lesson for today. So this is just a simple way on how we're going to delete and combine objects in Adobe Illustrator. So I hope you find it very interesting and you can have your own digital artwork using Adobe Illustrator. So thank you. So see you on our next lesson. Bye. Activity.